Welcome to Network Africa with me, Cynthia Arena. We've got some breaking news coming in from right here in Nigeria. The command center for Nigeria's military operation against militant Islamist group Boko Haram has been moved to Maiduguri, the largest city in the country's northeast. The sect has killed thousands and displaced around 1.5 million people during a 6-year insurgency in which it's tried to establish an Islamist emirate in the country that is Africa's top oil exporter and most populous nation. We'll have more details for you concerning that as we go on or in subsequent bulletins. But for now, let's go straight to other stories. Now, we would like to let you know that we're going to be looking at this, as you can see right there on your screen. We're looking first at what's happening in South Sudan. The rebels are saying that they are in charge of the Unity oil fields, while the government says it's in charge. And we'll also be speaking to Colonel Philip Agure concerning that. And Eritrea might also have committed war crimes, according to the United Nations. Also today, we're looking at the happenings concerning the G7 summit. The Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari, has met with President Francois Hollande of France. We'll have that and more for you, but let's get straight to business. It was indeed a weekend with a mix of the good, the bad, and mostly the ugly. Here's a look at the top 3 stories which made headlines on the African continent. An international rescue fleet plucked almost 5,900 migrants from rickety boats, making the perilous sea crossing from North Africa to Europe on Saturday and Sunday. A British warship assisted in picking up more than 1,000 refugees, including 10 pregnant women. The Italian Coast Guard, which coordinates rescue efforts from Rome, said British, Swedish, Spanish, and Italian ships and a merchant vessel had all been called upon to go to the aid of 15 different boats on Sunday, June the 7th, rescuing 2,400 people in all. Then Egypt's foreign minister hosted a tripartite meeting grouping Egypt, Algeria, and Italy to discuss the Libyan security crisis on Sunday, June the 7th. The meeting is the second of its kind as it follows a similar one hosted in Rome in April. Libya has plunged into violence since mid-2014 due to an escalating power struggle between rival governments. Finally, according to a leading opposition party leader, Burundi needs to disarm government-linked militias, allow for the reopening of private media houses, and President Pierre Nkurunziza must respect the Central African nation's constitution when it comes to elections. President Nkurunziza's announcement in late April that he would seek a third term sparked protests in the capital, Bujumbura.
Once Nkurunziza is in the race, it has no longer the characteristic of a democratic election, because the constitution of ours will be just thrown away, as well as the Arusha Agreement. Then, once we have violated the constitution, which other law will apply? That's the problem. So I think Nkurunziza and his party don't even analyze the situation as it is. They are going astray, and they don't want to be advised. Rather, they would better try to understand what is the plea of Burundians, and also try to understand all these advices from abroad. Many special envoys came in, many leaders of government came in, and even already 2 summits have been held with regard to this issue of fate. Why then Nkurunziza cannot understand that after all he has to step aside? By the way, he doesn't even have a program which he develops that he may implement once he will be elected anew. So what kind of term does he seek now?
The almost daily protests erupted on April the 26th, and activists say that more than 30 people have been killed so far. Now, who's in control of Unity oil fields in the world's newest country? Is it the rebels or the government? Well, at the moment, both say they're running the show. A military spokesman who chose not to be named said the government is in control of the unity state in the north, but that's at the moment, but the fighting continues. Forces loyal to President Salva Kiir and rebels allied with former Vice President Riek Machar have been fighting for nearly 18 months in the world's newest state, which seceded from Sudan back in 2011. Ceasefires have been agreed, but also broken. Well, joining us via telephone is Colonel Philip Aguirre, who is the spokesperson for the South Sudan military. Colonel Aguirre, thank you for speaking with us on the program.
You're highly welcome.
Now, I'd just like to confirm from you who is in control of the oil fields in Unity State at the moment.
At the moment, the SPLA forces are in full control of the oil field in Upper Nile State and in Unity State. The rebels have plans to attack or capture or destroy the oil field, but the SPLA had deprived them of doing that. And the last attack by the rebels to the oil field in Unity State north of Bentiu town was on the 5th of this month, when the rebels were defeated and they went back to a place called Panakwai. Now the SPLA is in full control of Unity oil field and the surroundings.
Now, what's happening in terms of tension at the moment in Unity State?
Definitely, the rebels are very active at the northern borders of the Republic of South Sudan with the Sudan. And this is where they are getting their supplies. And the war now is concentrated in these strips of the borders between Unity State and Southern Kordofan, and between White Nile in the Sudan and Upper Nile. This is where the tension is. Otherwise, the SPLA is in full control of Malakal and the oil fields that are north of Malakal town, and the rest of the areas are quiet.
Well, Colonel Aguirre, thank you very much for giving us the latest. We're thankful for your time.
You're highly welcome.
Now to other matters. Eritrea's government may have committed crimes against humanity. A year-long UN human rights inquiry has concluded in a report which was published today, and it describes activities such as extrajudicial killings, widespread torture, sexual slavery, and enforced labor. According to the Commission, slavery-like practices are routine, and torture is so widespread that it could only be concluded that the government's policy was to encourage its use. The Commission had asked Eritrea for access and information during its inquiry, but has not received any response.
We see human rights violation of this scope and scale as we see in Eritrea today. It is not surprising to us that these days a large proportion of those crossing the Mediterranean and using other irregular routes to reach Europe are Eritreans. They're fleeing a country ruled not by law, but by fear.
We'll take a break now on Network Africa. When we come back, President Buhari meets with his French counterpart on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Details in a moment. Please stay with us.